Welcome. I am Greg Revak. Today we're going to be talking about angling for defense and for offense. So this is such an interesting area that I don't think gets talked about enough out there. We hear a lot of the X's and O's, team kind of tactics, but not too much on the individual tactics and finding ways to play the game smarter. So wanted to dive into that today to show how these can be used by individual players to gain competitive advantages. So again, I am Greg Revak. You can find me on Twitter at Coach Revak. And together with Dan Dukart, you can find us at Hockey's Arsenal all over the web at Hockey's Arsenal. The two main things that we do is our Hockey IQ newsletter, over 1,300 coaches ranging from youth all the way up to the NHL level. Just diving into some interesting concepts, talking about linear crossovers, puck positioning, tactics to acquire the puck better, things like that. And then we have the Hockey IQ podcast, where we'll dive in with great hockey minds, whether it be Marty St. Louis, Ted Soikinen, and beyond. So really great stuff there. You can find us at all those locations. Feel free, if you have any questions, to get in touch with me after. So let's start with what is angling. Angling is basically a tactic to close space. So when we're talking about closing space, you can go directly at someone, or you can take an angle. So coming in on an arc, slowly closing the space off rather than going directly at someone. So this is a great graphic from Mitch Brown showing if you are successful, not that vulnerable, you're still skating forward to be skating with a player. If you are successful, how you're able to immediately jump and turn that into offense. So great tool, both ways, successful, unsuccessful as a defender. We're going to get into later the offensive side and how can we counteract this, but just to give an idea here of what it looks like and why it's so powerful, either if you're successful or unsuccessful. So the idea of angling, it is that it allows you to read and dictate. So when you're talking with a lot of hockey people, you're always hearing about, oh, you got to read and then react, read and react, read and react. And while not the worst advice, because you do want your players reading the game and you got to react in some shape or form, there's that other level, which is the read and dictate, where now you're in control. You're not just letting the game control you. You're actively imposing your will onto the game. So I think it's powerful that we always are giving players tools to dictate play. We don't want to have them waiting around for something to happen. We want something in our players that says, hey, you can go out and proactively control the game. Here's some ways that you can do it. I think angling is a skill. I think it is a very underrated skill. Why I believe that is that players that use their hockey IQ, use angling, are the ones that are controlling the game. They're the ones dictating the terms of play that shapes the game that everyone else plays on. I like to say this is a general picking a battlefield. You know, you're going to wait until the opportune time, and then you're going to pick your battles and control your controllables to put your team, yourself, in the best possible position for success. So the most common area you hear about angling is as the first forechecker, F1. And while, yes, that is important and most obvious, the other players, I would say, are even more important, where we're leading opposition into bad spots. So when they do get the puck, now they've got a compromising position or they can't do as much. So always, always, always dictating, reading, dictating, controlling space, and becoming hard to play against. This is ways that even for smaller players, especially if you're a coach and you're trying to help smaller players understand how they can be more difficult to play against rather than just throwing their weight around, which may be a problem. Controlling the space, taking angles, forcing players into bad spots, such a key important thing for all players, especially the smaller players. So when we talk about angling, that's great that we talk about it and that players should be able to do it, but to be a player that it has quality angling the entire game through, there's the ancillary skills that build into that. The big 2-1, skating on arcs and stick awareness. So skating on arcs, that's going to be how you get around the rink. Those are the routes that you take that are highly effective or very low effectiveness. So really important when done properly and really controlling the space, showing players the space, and then taking it away. Players will actually be picking speed up into an opponent, not slowing down, starting to match speeds. All great ways of, for example, Justin Hall controlling Connor McDavid. So huge. The biggest weakness I see for players with the biggest detractor I see from players being able to angle well, especially at the youth levels, is their outside edges. They just have a weak outside edge and they struggle to take quality angles because of it. They can't maneuver properly. They can't maintain speed through turns. So when you're looking at improving angling, a great way to start is working on outside edges and building up from there. The second key big thing is stick awareness. So how do you use your stick to influence play? You can think of it as a shepherd with their sheep. You know, they use the big staff to show the sheep where they need to go. Hockey is no different here. We can show our stick to influence the play where players are going to want to go with this. With that, once we are now on the player, we need to worry about contact, stripping possession, leading stick on puck, and how we go about that. And a common thing that I like to use when I'm talking with players that are not very good with their stick awareness, just to start getting them in the idea of, oh, hey, I need to worry about where my stick is at as I'm skating around the rink, is talking about the real estate of this. So you have a player give you their stick, you know, ask them, what is this? And obviously they go, oh, it's my stick. Yeah, but what is it truly? You know, it is a real estate that if you're not putting it stick to puck, you're not putting it in good positions, that you're giving the opposition, you're becoming easier to play against. So think of it as 4 to 6 feet of real estate rather than just a hockey stick. You know, use that real estate, close down players, be hard to play against. So Adam Oates' dad actually made a tape of Gretzky before he went away to college. And Adam Oates is one of the all-time great players, Hall of Famer. And his dad made a tape specifically of Wayne Gretzky. And it wasn't so much all of the fancy stick skills, all of the skating with the puck, things like that. He made a tape showing all of the great things that Gretzky did away from the puck. And the thing that you constantly hear from Adam Oates is all of the angles that Gretzky took, how well he closed off space, how great his stick was. So I just want to show that, yes, Gretzky was a great player, maybe the all-time greatest player. And everyone thinks of the skill, but him and McDavid are both hounds of the puck. So let's take a peek at what that looks like.
Gretzky takes it away. Right in front, Curry, number 4.
For the North Stars. Fails to get it out. Gretzky keeps North Stars. Dropping it back now for Brad Maxwell. 1:45 to play first period. Wayne Gretzky. Gretzky cutting in across.
The goal tonight, that by Jari Kurri. Gretzky to Curry's got a breakaway. Score!
So we can all see that Gretzky is a phenomenal player, and even the best player of all time understands the importance of angling, good stick awareness through playing defense there. So let's take a clip of the classic example when we talk about angling, the forechecking F1. Again, looking at the arc skating, the stick detail, the stick awareness, and what that truly looks like on film. Vinny Trocheck from Team North America did a great job of this. And we'll watch it twice over. So once to see it at full speed, and 2, we'll break it down.
The puck to center. Chalmerson is back. That's Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Vinny Trocheck has moved up the lineup for the Canadiens today. He's been playing very well, and now he's out with Jack Eichel, who has the puck. Back to the blue line. Shane Gostis there. Slap pass. Backhand shot. Score! Vinny Trocheck.
Awesome stuff. Takes great angles, gets rewarded with a nice goal. So let's play that back.
Puck to center. Chalmerson is to center.
So we start with Vinny Trocheck, good stick, forcing that play, back across the ice, doesn't want that going up the wall. Great stick detail number 1.
Chalmerson is back. That's Oliver Ekman.
Now we can see he's on his outside edges, skating an arc. Again, great stick awareness. Now he's taking away that cross ice pass back as the player is showing that they want. Trocheck forces this puck up the wall.
Larson, center. Chalmerson is back. That's Oliver Ekman Larson.
Trocheck puts the stick then up the wall. If we go back ever so slightly here, you can see then puts that stick back up the wall, taking away the middle part of the ice. That defenseman then has to do a circle back. Again, Trocheck changes his stick, puts it back. Again, great stick awareness, consistently moving it into the lane that the defenseman wants it to be, and is able to get a good stick on puck here and eventually jar the puck away.
Vinny Trocheck has moved up the lineup for the Canadiens today. He's been playing very well.
Excellent stuff. Now we've got a puck battle. We're able to go to work and eventually get the goal.
He's out with Jack Eichel, who has the puck. Back to the blue line. Shane Gostis there. Slap pass. Backhand shot. Score! Vinny Trocheck. The puck to center.
So that's the classic example. Vinny Trocheck doing it really well. Stick moving all the way around into the passing lanes. Not too late, not too early, right on time, reading the play, skating on an arc, getting a turnover, getting the goal. So that's the classic. Moving on to the modern use that we're seeing more and more often. Any high-level coaches here will understand that this is something that's being talked about all over the place. Defensemen skating forwards, defending skating forwards, cutting off the play before it gets going, nipping it in the bud. So this is a great technique you're often seeing from defensemen. I've heard it be called swing-ins before. I just call it defending skating forward, skating on angles. So let's watch this once through.
And just trickled wide of the goal, but what pressure.
Here makes one save and then turned to 3.
He's stripped of the puck. Barkov plays it in.
Kane, and it's saved by Omar. Big Linus Omar getting those.
Turns to his forehand, stays with it, but Vrana was in the skating lane.
Back out in front again, touched over by Calvert, and then punched back out again by Neal.
It kicks around, and somehow the Islanders stave it on.
In front, Clune couldn't get a stick on it. And now Smith will chip it the other way, and Poso can't find it. McCabe overskates it. Matt Reed back the other way, scores!
We can see how important this is for defensemen. Reading pressure, understanding this, cutting it off before it gets going. We're seeing less and less players allowing the wingers, the forwards, the opposition to come up the ice as they just drop back, skate backwards, and defend the rush. If you read that there's little support, you got good back pressure, attack that and close that space off early. Excellent stuff. So that covers the defensive side for today, but I want to talk about the other side. What about the offense? You know, this is a cat and mouse game, the yin and the yang. So how do we create issues for players trying to angle us? So what we're trying to get at effectively is the ability to control the defender's skates. When a player's angling at you, they're coming on an angle, they've got clean feet, they're pushing you into a space, they're gaining speed, all things that are problems for us on the offensive side. So we want to be able to control the defender's skates, defend the defender's feet, take control of that, dictate to them what they can do. And the best way to do this is basically skate directly at the player that's trying to angle you. Don't allow them to angle you. What it effectively does is it locks in the player's skates, whether it be facing you or facing the direction that they're trying to defend. So if you skate at a guy, you do one fake move, their heels and feet turn. Now you can attack off those heels, off the toe caps, below them, whatever it may be, however you want to do it. In this video below, I'm going to show it's going to show how effective this is. We'll watch it through twice. Once you can get a grasp of the video itself and the players, and then a second time through to really focus on the defender's feet.
Sandolat, and it's Marner the other way. Marner to the Philadelphia line. Marner all the way around. He scored!
If I can build up speed here.
Perfect inward curl.
It's gone out and made great deals, and puck to Ben, and he'll skate it slowly through center ice.
Tag up, they're way offside, and now here it comes back in the other direction. Eichel into the line to score!
Really effective. We can see that a lot of these guys aren't even going anywhere close to full speed. Skating directly at the guy locks that player into their position, allows them to be a glorified cone and create glorified cones out there. So let's take a look one more time. Try to watch the defender's feet, whether they're getting their feet turned or they're stuck in their skates and aren't able to come at them and close space off effectively.
Sandelat, and it's Marner the other way. Marner to the Philadelphia line. Marner all the way around. He scored!
If I can build up speed here.
Perfect inward curl.
It's gone out and made great deals, and puck to Ben, and he'll skate it slowly through center ice.
Tag up, they're way offside, and now here it comes back in the other direction. Eichel into the line to score!
Awesome stuff there. Next thing I want to go into as an example, I call saving ice. So when we're able to control the defender's positioning and skates, it allows us to leave open ice and not go directly into it. So you basically, I call it saving ice because you're saving that ice for when you decide to actually utilize it. You don't want to go into it too early. Otherwise the defender is going to close you off, or give you less room to operate. So classic example is a weaker play skates them up the wall into a bad position. The defensive team's able to take a good angle on them, hit them off the puck, create a turnover. While that's the simple way, great players understand that when I skate at a player, when I'm able to control ice, control speed, I can leave that ice open till the opportune time. And my favorite example is of Torrey Krug in a 3-on-3 overtime. So let's take a peek at what that looks like. So again, we'll go once through just to get the idea of it. We're going to watch number 11 here, Parise. Watch how he's controlled, and as Krug effectively goes directly at him.
Soft win, but Krug didn't get much on the indirect pass to Marshall. Krug takes the ice, goes right down the slot, and scores! The Brute just explodes. It's man-on-man coverage. You can see the two wild players just kind of fade to the outside because that's where Marshall and Pasternak is.
Awesome stuff here. So let's slow this down a little bit here.
Soft win, but Krug didn't get much on the direct.
We can see Parise here. He's been gliding for a little bit. Krug doesn't go into the open space quite yet, goes at Parise. We can see Parise's feet are locked. He's slowing down, just maintaining speed, as Krug is now creating a positive speed differential that's later gonna pay off.
Indirect pass to Marshall. Krug.
We can see, okay, now he needs that space. He takes 2 hard strides into it, continues to build that speed differential, and is able to get through.
The ice goes right down the slot and scores! The Brute just explodes.
So we can see how this plays out here. So it's a little bit like basketball. We get a one-on-one, mano-y-mano, Parise and Krug, as Marchand and Bergeron both pinned to the blue lines.
It's man-on-man coverage.
Parise starts at a bad angle already. Krug notices this. So Parise understands he's in a bad spot. He needs to get back, get some speed going up ice before Krug goes by him.
Win, but Krug didn't get much on the drink. Scores! The Brute just explodes. It's man-on-man coverage. You can see the.
So we can see all of the ice that Krug could go into that he just decides not to go into. Instead, he goes into Parise, goes at Parise, locking his feet in. So that's the first thing to notice, how he's going at him. But then next, watch Parise's feet.
2 wild players.
Parise's unable to get any speed going. Now, Krug's probably going 60, 75% speed. When he decides, okay, I've got a big enough speed differential, he understands the angles and that open ice is there. Boom, he now takes 2 crossovers. We can see him doing that right now, moving into that open space that he saved for himself, the ice that he saved. picks up that extra little gear and is able to get by Parise effectively for breakaway.
Just kind of fade to the outside because that's where Marjan Pasternak is.
Absolutely gorgeous, beautiful, perfect way to use this tactic. You see it all the time. There's so many turnovers during a game, so there's constantly transition and rushes back and forth. It's a great way to effectively open space for yourself, understand space, and again, create that competitive advantage. So moving into, okay, how do we get at this? How do we teach it? Get our players in that. I like to do 3 separate drills that get at this tactic, starting with the neutral zone. So I delineate F's and D's just so you understand, who's playing offense, who's playing defense. But realistically, I like all players to be on both sides of this. It's great for both players to understand the angles and being able to control defenders' feet. So I got forwards on the far blue line. I got anglers and defenders on the opposite dot. With that, I draw the drill. I explain just 2 rules. The attackers, you're trying to score, and the defender can't skate backwards. You've got to be able to angle and skate forward to defend. Now, with that, let's watch the video of how this operates. As you're probably going to guess, a lot of players are just going to go down the wall because they see all this open space. I need to skate into that. We know different. All right. Log this person, this rep in the back of your mind here, the white jersey, number 2. Notice how he goes down the ice. See how he gets cut off, and he has to cut back at the very last minute. We're going to see him on the opposite side of this when he's doing it the right way. And you're going to see just the massive, massive difference this makes for players. So key in on this one.
Got it.
So prime example of them doing it wrong. They gave it an effort, but they really don't have the mindset. They're not thinking about, all right, how do I get around these players? The only one who angled well was the guy that actually played for me full season. Everyone else was struggling to do it there. So what you can do after that, you take the video just like I did on an iPad. I show them on the iPad. I blow the whistle, bring them all in, show them that video on the iPad. And then I'm just asking the simple question, what does a defender want you to do? They all say, hey, I want you to go down the wall, blah, blah, blah. Basic stuff that you'd expect. And then you just ask a simple follow-up question, should you be doing that? If that's what the defender wants you to do, should you be doing that? The obvious answer is no. So then we need to go to the next level of, okay, well, if that's not what you want to do, what are some options for something that you can do to get away from that? So I like to bring in and use my assistant coaches on this, get them involved. So I'll show them doing it their way, showing how easy it is to angle, how ineffective, how your space gets closed off super quick. And then we show them that second rep of skating directly at the angling opponent. We see how those feet get locked in. We're showing that once you finally realize that you've got them, you can turn on the jets and go, add that extra speed. So you get the speed differential, you get the angling, and then we go right back to it. So let's take a peek here. Again, key in, I believe it's the second rep here, the white jersey, and what a big difference it is from rep 1 and 2 to reps 3 and 4 here.
Yeah. Great.
So pulling this one back, we can see just the massive difference that happens here. Just watch the defender's feet on this as he gets as the attacker skates at him, he doesn't know how to do it, what he's got to do with his feet to make sure that guy stays in a good defensive posture. So now that was our youngest player on the ice that day. He was Bantam, going to be high school the following year. The rest of the kids are pretty much all high school players. And he's able to take that and effectively gain confidence in his ability to start controlling the space. Absolutely massive. And then this last one I want to show is going to be our oldest kid, our biggest kid playing defense in white across the way there versus our smallest kid. This is just unbelievable. How easy he makes this look, even though the size difference has got to be probably half a foot and 30, 40 pounds.
That was great.
Still able to get off a good shot, even going against a high or a big kid. So massive, massive stuff. Let's take that one more time. Just see what a difference that is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was great.
Great stuff. I like that last one because it's very much open to a cat and mouse game. I'm not directing. You got to take this skating pattern. You got to do it like this. Here's the situation. It's very much a cat and mouse. Players can try things, see if they work, get some good feedback, and continue those reps over and over again to understand what works, what doesn't, what do they like, what don't they like, understand the angles that they need to be taking, whether it be from a defensive standpoint or offensive standpoint. It's so critical to allow them to experiment within the practice. So another one, just a classic example, forward goes around the net with the puck. You can have one-on-one, or you can do a 1v2 trying to break it out. I usually start with a 1v1, basic stuff, and then I'll add that second defender in there so they can understand how to read off the first player. Is that player taking an angle that's too shallow and they need to get over the top? Is that person getting too much over the top, cut back slightly, and should stay underneath the puck? So just a matter of working together, understanding the angles, getting those imprinted in their brains, having that myelin build so they're able to understand the angles that are required during a game. And it takes a few practices, but this is something that relatively quickly you'll notice players on the opposition do not get around your guys very easily. And then the opposite side of it, you can see a lot of your players understanding and opening up space in these little situations, usually on the rush, it's most pronounced, and just how effective this little tactic is done for a week or two of practice. And then maybe just have to refresh it once or twice later in the season. But for the most part, this is going to be ingrained, something they're looking to do and understand. The last one for everyone who likes small area games, just an angling game. You spot a puck to one side. That team is the one that's on offense first. The other defending team, same exact rules as the first one. You guys try to score. The other guys try to angle off. And then you can start to understand 2v2, 3v3, where everyone's trying to angle. And it's not just angle to the puck, but angle to the guys off the puck as well. So I think it's so critical. Make a little game out of it. Keep it relatively quick, 10, 15 seconds max. The key here is the angling part of it, making sure angling off the puck and not just on, controlling speed. Really all critical things, especially if you're controlling some really great players on the other side of the rink. If you can control their speed, that's halfway winning the battle there. So thank you for tuning in. Thanks for Ryan Stacey for putting all this together. If you have any questions or just want to reach out, talk about this, hop on Zoom, whatever it may be, you can find me on Twitter at Coach Revak. My DMs are open, or you can reach out through our email, hockeysarsenal@gmail.com. Find us all over the web. We're pretty easy to find and get a hold of. Would recommend checking out our podcast, signing up for our newsletter. And you can also find me over at the coach's site. So Hope you have a great day. Hope you learned a thing or two. Please, again, reach out if you have any questions or just want to talk through some of these things.